There are moments in life that disrupt the familiar order of the soul, moments when an experience defies reason and thrusts us into the depths of meaning itself. One such experience is encountering what is often called a twin flame. Some may dismiss it as mere romantic fantasy, while others treat it as a profound spiritual phenomenon. In reality, it is neither entirely imaginary nor fully captured by doctrine. Meeting a twin flame can feel like an ancient part of the soul awakening, a soul that has wandered through lifetimes in search of its reflection. But what happens when this reflection exists within someone else? What if the connection that stirs your deepest self is already entwined with another? This is not a question to approach with sentimentality, nor should we try to resolve it with pure logic. Here, we are navigating the paradoxes of the soul through symbols emerging from the deep layers of the unconscious, where the rules of the ego fade and the language of myth takes over. When your twin flame is already committed to someone else, the challenge goes beyond the denial of a conventional relationship. You are faced with the impossible, the intertwining of destiny and limitation, the encounter of two eternal aspects in a reality that prevents their union. The psychological impact is profound. It triggers a crisis not just of desire, but of identity itself. This is no ordinary longing. It is neither mere infatuation nor obsession. It is a recognition so complete that it feels like memory, like recalling something you always knew. The presence of the other calls to your essence before words can form. Their voice reverberates in the deepest chambers of your heart, as if familiar from before birth. Yet, they continue along another path. They are committed to another path, perhaps by choice, obligation, or a different kind of love. The ego protests, asking, why would fate place before me what I cannot claim? But such a question assumes that fate exists to serve individual desire. In truth, fate often acts to dismantle the ego, to shatter delusions of control and ownership, and to guide the soul towards greater dimension. Encountering your twin flame while they are married to someone else is an initiation into a profound, archetypal form of suffering. This is not simply jealousy or heartbreak. It is a fundamental unraveling. The suffering is sacred, for it strips away the masks of persona, exposing the raw essence within. One must learn to remain with this pain, not overcome it or dull it, but to listen. What is it communicating? What does it seek? Beneath the yearning for union lies a deeper, more essential cry of the soul. The longing is not simply to unite with another, but to become whole within oneself. This is the essential truth. The twin flame is neither a possession nor solution. They are a reflection. They reveal both your human wounds and your highest potential. They hold up a mirror that does not flatter, but exposes. In their presence, you are not merely in love. You are both illuminated and fragmented. When that light cannot remain in your life, when their journey continues along a path that excludes you, the shadow emerges, not as mere darkness, but as the neglected parts of the soul, the unlived life, the unacknowledged grief, the buried longings hidden beneath years of false desires. The temptation is strong, to blame, to see their marriage as an obstacle to your happiness. Yet, doing so misses the invitation. If the twin flame is truly a mirror, their distance and unavailability reveals something vital about your own inner landscape. Perhaps it exposes a dependence on others for validation. Perhaps it highlights the ways you sacrifice your own growth for the illusion of union. Perhaps it shatters the misconception that you are not already complete. Do not seek to possess them. Do not attempt to disrupt their marriage to satisfy a personal fantasy. That path leads only to deeper shadow and confusion. The true path is one of transmutation. The fire that might have kindled union must now pass through you, burning away attachments and releasing the energy trapped in romantic idealism. This is the alchemical stage of calcination, the purification of illusion to reveal the soul's true essence. While the twin flame may awaken you, they are not the ones who complete you. They open the door, but you must walk through it yourself. If they are married to someone else, you are offered a rare chance to love without possession, to hold the flame without confinement. This is not the path of ordinary relationships. It is the path of the mystic, the initiate, one who learns to carry the soul's unbearable longing with dignity and quiet. In dreams, they may appear. In waking life, their presence may linger at the edges of awareness, like a whisper just beyond understanding. Do not turn away from this. It is not a call to them, but to yourself. Ask, why has my soul drawn them here now? What is this encounter awakening within me? If they cannot walk beside me, which part of myself must now awaken? Often, encountering a twin flame who is committed to someone else is the soul's way of activating the inner union, the sacred marriage within. Every soul holds both masculine and feminine principles, animus and anima. The true work is not to find completion in another, but to allow these inner opposites to harmonize. The presence of the twin flame, unattainable yet undeniably real, serves as a catalyst for this inner work. It compels the ego to release its story of romantic rescue and surrender to a deeper calling. The integration of inner opposites, the emergence of the whole self. It may feel like punishment or cosmic cruelty, but it is neither. It is grace in disguise. Few are given such a mirror. Few are granted such a clear view of both their potential and their shadow. To meet your twin flame and be denied union is to be confronted by truth itself. Love is not always meant to satisfy. It is sometimes meant to transform. At times, it must break the heart open so the soul can fully emerge. You may find yourself returning repeatedly to the moment of first meeting. It may feel like a story without end, an open wound that refuses to close. Yet this pain is not a sign of failure. It is a teacher. Allow it to guide you into the depths of your own nature. Let it reveal where you still cling, where fear remains, and where trust in life unfolding is yet to grow. Gradually, through this dark night, something new may arise, not relief, not forgetting, but integration. The fire that once burned with unbearable longing transforms into inner light. You become the flame you once sought in another. And perhaps, in another life or beyond the veil of form, union will occur. But that is not for this moment. This moment is yours. This life is yours. Let them go, not with bitterness, but with reverence. Let their marriage be their journey. Bless it if you can, for the blessing you offer them is also the freedom you grant yourself. You are not abandoning love. You are becoming it. Allow the ache to remain, but do not nourish it. Let it exist quietly, like the moon over the sea, distant, luminous, a reminder that love is vast and mysterious. Sometimes the deepest union is not of bodies or names, but souls moving along parallel paths, each holding the other in sacred memory, each becoming who they were always meant to be. There is no tragedy here, only initiation. A twin flame married to someone else is not the conclusion of your story. It is the start of your transformation. Accept it. If you embrace this process and endure its fires without fleeing into distraction or resentment, something remarkable begins to unfold within you. A new relationship with love itself. The distance of the twin flame, once a source of pain, now serves a different purpose. It no longer functions as a wound to be nursed, but as a wellspring of insight, a living symbol engraved in your being. Even from afar, their presence resonates beyond the limits of time and space. It becomes less about the physical relationship and more about the essence that awakens within you. This is a realm of the symbolic life, where the external no longer confines you, but directs attention inward. The twin flame transforms into a living symbol, representing your soul's deepest longing for union. Not just with another, but with the infinite. Their presence lingers, not to trap you in fantasy, but to remind you of who you are beneath the layers of roles and personas. In the echo of their name, you may begin to hear your own. In their unattainable gaze, you may glimpse the eyes of your own soul, waiting for your attention inward. We live in a world fixated on fulfillment, gratification, and external completion. Yet, what if the very absence of fulfillment is a condition necessary for awakening? What if love denied is not lost, but transformed, elevated from a desire to possess into a capacity to become? Here, suffering gains meaning. It becomes a path, a teacher, even a companion. It demands authenticity, asking you to face your longing without delusion. Your task is not to wait for their return or mourn their absence, but to engage in the deliberate work of integrating the truths they reveal to you. Every encounter with a twin flame carries a blueprint, an awakening pattern meant to be realized through your own life. Perhaps you saw in them a courage you had yet to claim. Perhaps their presence awakened a tenderness long forgotten. Perhaps they stirred an ancient memory within you, a remembrance of purpose, connection, and wholeness. This awakening was never meant to remain confined to them. It was meant to be claimed by you. Now begins the work, not of chasing, pleading, or clinging to romantic hope, but of inner embodiment. You must become the qualities they reflected to you. If they inspired love, become that love. If they evoked a longing for truth, become that truth. If their presence dissolved cynicism and made you feel alive, it is your responsibility to keep that flame alive, not as memory, but as a lived reality. In the symbolic language of the soul, the twin flame represents the union of opposites. When that union is denied externally, it signals a call to realize it within. The masculine and feminine principles within you, the active and receptive, the rational and intuitive, the protector and nurturer, must turn toward one another. The twin flame's external inaccessibility is not a rejection. It is an invitation to internalize the union and become whole within yourself. Many resist this path. The ego recoils from pain, loss, and surrender. It seeks resolution, clarity, and tidy endings. But the soul does not move in straight lines. Its rhythm is cyclical, paradoxical, and filled with silence and symbolism. When you surrender to this rhythm, you begin to trust that even the absence of your twin flame has purpose. You come to understand that their marriage is not an obstacle, but part of the greater design. The real barrier lies in the belief that love must take a specific form to be real. You must release form. Let go of how you thought love should appear, the fantasy of timing, union, or a happily ever after. In doing so, you do not lose a connection. You refine it. You move from longing for possession to cultivating presence. The soul's bond with the twin flame is not a tether. It is a flame. It flickers even in absence, glows in silence, and warms the darkest corners of solitude, not to torment you with what cannot be, but to remind you of who you are when all illusions are removed. Your twin flame's marriage is not a mistake, nor a betrayal. It is a revelation. It exposes the limits of your expectations and the vastness of love beyond them. It challenges the notion that love must be realized and formed to be meaningful, daring you to expand, transcend, and transform. This is a love that does not promise comfort, but depth. It does not offer possession, but expansion. It may break you, yet it also builds you into something more authentic than before. Some days you may curse it. Some nights it may feel like madness. You may be drawn into lingering dreams, conversations with silence where their voice seems to live, questioning your sanity, worth, or faith. Yet beneath all these storms lies the stillness of something deeper, your awakening. No one emerges from an encounter with a twin flame unchanged. Whether they stay or leave, whether they are free or committed, whether they love you openly or in silence. The true question is not what they choose, but what you become. What you are called to become is not the beloved, but your whole self, grounded, sovereign, complete. The longing for a twin flame is never only about the other. It is a longing for your own depths, for the parts of yourself that remain dormant until awakened by their presence. If they cannot walk with you in this life, take the gift of what they stir within you and let it guide your own growth. Do not make their presence a condition for transformation. Make it a catalyst. There is also a sacred discipline to be learned, the discipline of loving in silence, to love without grasping, honor without expectation, and hold someone in your soul while allowing them to follow their own path. This is not weakness nor martyrdom. It is a rare and profound strength. It is the kind of love that asks nothing but presence, prays without words, walks alongside another not in body but in spirit, respects the boundaries of form, and lives in the vastness of the heart. This love does not seek reunion. It seeks realization. It understands that union is not always about sharing space, but about being aligned in essence. True love is not extinguished by circumstance. It is clarified. It becomes purer, freer, and unbound by time or title. In this clarity, you may find peace, not the peace of closure, but the peace of surrender, knowing that what was meant to awaken you has fulfilled its purpose. Even so, the ache will remain, and that is no weakness. It is a sign that you are alive to the mysteries of the soul, a signature of the sacred. Do not rush to silence it. Let it exist not as torment, but as a companion, a reminder that you have touched something eternal, something few dare to encounter. Let the ache speak to you through poetry, music, and solitude. Let it carve depth into your presence, so that when you love again, and you love not from lack, but from fullness. The great irony is this. Once you become what the twin flame awaken in you, you no longer need them in the same way. The energy that once surged toward them with desperation now flows through you as creative force, clarity, and purpose. You may still love them quietly, endlessly, but it is a love that no longer burns. It warms. It does not consume. It sustains. And it frees you to live your own life, not in waiting, but in wonder. There may come a day when your paths cross again, or perhaps not. Perhaps this lifetime will never resolve the story you once thought essential. But resolution is not the goal, integration is. To integrate their impact into your soul's evolution is to honor them, to honor yourself, and honor the mystery that brought you together only to send you apart. This is the dance of the soul, a choreography not of possession, but of presence, not a conclusion, but of transformation. See their image not as fixation, but as inspiration. Let their memory live not as a wound, but as a flame that lights your path. Let their name become a mantra, not of loss, but of remembrance. Walk forward, not in denial or despair, but in devotion. Devotion to the life you're still called to live, the love you are still capable of giving, and the self you are still becoming. When the ache returns, as inevitably will, do not resist it. Sit with it, listen to it. Let it remind you that you have loved deeply, and that this love, though unmet in form, has shaped you. Let it remind you that you have touched something vast, eternal, and true. Even in its absence, it remains alive within you, alive in the mystery, alive in the quiet unfolding of your soul. To love a twin flame deeply, and to witness them walk a path that does not include you, is one of the soul's most profound initiations. It is not punishment, but a passage, a call to alchemize longing into self-realization. Their presence in your life, however brief or distant, was never meant to satisfy the ego, but to awaken what lies dormant within. Though they may be bound to another, the flame they ignited in you is yours to carry. You are not left behind. You're called forward. In answering that call, you come to understand that the truest union does not always manifest externally, but within a soul that has learned to love without attachment, grieve without despair, and grow without possession. In this way, love becomes more than desire. It becomes sacred. The world may never recognize the depth of what you have felt, but the soul knows. It remembers, and it honors the fire that transformed you, not through union, but through the courage to walk forward with an open heart and a spirit rising into its own wholeness.